Good morning, dear students. I am Dr. A. Shankar Kumar, Assistant Professor of Public Administration, working at Government Degree College, Malkajgiri. Uh, Today's topic, administrative reforms. So, this is the particularly the syllabus is concerned with the uh, public administration at UG and PG level, and is also a most for the competitive oriented structure of syllabus. So, in this administrative reforms, uh, first, what is the objective of the administrative reforms? That means why reforms is needed. That is a basic question. And what are the historical reforms were taken during the British period, and a number of commissions were established to suggest reforms in public administration and structural functionals of various constitutional bodies and parliament enacted bodies. And so before independence, certain commissions were governed by the British government. And after that, since independence from 1947 onwards, the Indian government of India also constituted a number of commissions to suggest the measurements to strengthen the organizational structure and functions. So, in these administrative reforms in India, particularly, the most important commissions are two. One is first ARC, Administrative Reforms Commission 1. It was constituted in the year of 1966. And the second letter commission is under the chairman of Veerappa Moily in the year of 2005. Second ARC, Second Administrative Reforms Commission. So these commissions were given a mandate, particular points to strengthen and the suggestion to improve the organizational structure from time to time. So we want to go details, particulars in this regard commissions. And the most during this British period, we have seen a number of commissions. Maxwell Committee, next Islington Committee, and the Macaulay Committee is the most important committee. Royal Commissions, so many Islington Commission, so many commissions were suggested to strengthen in the public reforms. So today's our topic. First, what is the administrative reforms, and then what is the reforms taken places in the administrative context. So first one is need for administrative reforms. What is the basis? According to Gerald E. Kaidan, administrative reforms is based on three fundamental premises. First one is the imperfectibility of human institutions. No matter how much mankind improves itself, it can always do better. Nothing is yet perfect. Perfection is still behind mankind's reach. In truth, human institutions are far from perfect. All administrative systems are capable of improvement, no matter how well they may be performing. That means the performance of the institutions. The second premises behind the administrative reforms is that large organizations, particularly large public organizations, tends to become conservative. If not complement, they prepare administrative reforms that work reasonably well rather than risk all unproven innovations or uncertain changes. This is the second premises. And next third premises is that given the highly conservative disposition of most public organizations, innovations permits slowly, even when a better way of doing things has been found. There is reluctance to try it. Always, it takes considerable time, efforts, energy, and conviction of incorporate innovations. These are the three premises for need to strengthen the governmental and public organizations. The administrative reforms is needed. Next, administrative reforms in India, particularly efforts for administrative reforms before independence. During the East India Company rule, most of the administrative reforms were introduced at the initiative of the Governor General and while during the rule of the British Crown. A few to important committees and commissions were set up to suggest improvements in the administrative system. Among such bodies were: first one is in the year of 1854, the Macaulay Committee to conduct public service examinations. That means today we are calling civil service. Earlier Civil Service Commission, now it is called UPSC, Union Public Service Commission. Second one is the Atchison Commission and the Public Service Commission in the year of under the chairman of Atchison, 1886 to 1887. So this is the most particularly on the subordinate services. Next, the Royal Commission upon Decentralization, 1907 to 1902 years period. So there is a federal structure, central level and state level. How the decentralization process going on that. Next point is the Islington Commission, 1912. This is also one of the important commission for the reforms of the public service. Next, the Lee Commission under the chairman of Lee in the year 1923, the British government appointed to make a suggest how the construction and functions of public service commission. That means the first public service commission in India in the year of 1926 was constituted on the recommendation of the Lee. Next, the Wheeler Committee, Government of India, the Secretariat Committee in the year of 1935 and 36, the structure and function of the Secretariat and what kind of basis needed for the secretarial reforms, particularly to the Secretariat only. The next committee, another committee on Secretariat reforms is the Wheeler Committee, Maxwell Committee also, and the Totahan Committee also on Government of India and the secretarial reforms. So one by one, the first most important committee is the Machiavelli Committee. It was appointed in the year of 1954 to advise, to conduct public service examinations in India. So parallel to the British examination, the committee in its report emphasized liberal educations for civil servant. That means not specific focus. So liberal should be given irrespective of arts, commerce, and professional courses. And on the recommendation of the Action Commission, the civil service in India were divided into three categories. One is imperial services, that means the uh, imperial, total imperial ruled by the British government, that is called ICS, Indian Civil Service, that comes under the IAS and IPS categories. And next service is provincial services regarding the, now we are calling in the state level services, group 1, group 2, group 3, group 4 services. And third one is the subordinate services. At the central level, the subordinate services also group C and group D. And at the districts, at the state level, also we have seen the group C and group third. So this is the clerical cadre of the say, post. And the British government was compelled to appoint in the year of 1907 under the chairman of Royal, and then the commission name is Royal Commission. So the Royal Commission, the first object is decentralization. That means the what kind of powers to be uh, held by the central government and as well as the state government also. Its objective was to secure the development of local self-government. The first time the local self-government was highlighted by the Royal Commission as an aspect of administrative devolution. That means the offices should be uh, decentralized from state to districts levels and districts to the middle level and the middle to lower level. That's the administrative devolutions. And next point is the committee is the famous committee, the Islington Commission. The Islington Commission is was constituted by the British government in the year of 1912. And the two main objectives of this committee is one is to prepare a report on conditions of service and to suggest ways and means to enhance the entry of Indians into the superior civil services. That means the imperial services, whether whether Indians are allowed or not, and if yes, and then what are the conditions to be and what are the measures to be taken. That is the main objective. And the Islington Commission suggested that the recruitment to the superior services could be made partly in England and partly in India. That means the examination will be going on it simultaneously in the as in England and India. So that means the examination center was allocated to the in India. Earlier the center was not there. If any candidate desired to prepare for civil service, write the examination of civil service, they want to go right at the England only. So the on the recommendation of the Islington Commission, the British government has taken a decision and the examination center was allocated in India also. This is the major recommendation of the Islington Commission. And the most famous important commission in historical background of the Public Service Commission is the Lee Commission. The Lee Commission was constituted in the year of 1923 under the chairman of Lee. So the major recommendation of immediate appointment of the Public Service Commission. So the earlier the UPSC before that Federal Public Service Commission. In advance the Federal Public Service Commission in the year 1926 Public Service Commission of India. So Public Service Commission was on the recommendation of the Lee. So Lee has given a three classes. First one is All India Services. So earlier is ICS, Indian Civil Services. So this service was reconstituted and then the All India Services. And second one is Central Services and third is the Provincial Services. So these are the major important recommendation of the Lee Commission. So what is constitution of Public Service Commission and three categories of services. So under the All India Services, I see earlier two services are only one is Indian Administrative Service and Indian Police Service. And then the All India Services, now we are calling Indian Forest Services. The Government of India in the year of 1966, the recommendation of the committee has taken and created one more All India service that is called Indian Forest Service, not Foreign Service. Indian Foreign Service comes under the Central Services category. And the main objective of the Wheeler Committee. So the Wheeler Committee is also, uh, it was to recommend such a changes in the organization and procedure of the Central Secretariat. It seems necessary for an efficient and expeditious dispatch of public businesses. So there is a delay process in the Secretariat process in the uh, jumping level of file jumping system. So in this another recommendation of the committee which was included in the manual of office procedure was to do away with the exciting system of double noting by the secretaries and joint secretaries and to reorganize the separate responsibility of these offices. So there is a little bit slightly changes. That means the files goes from in a hierarchical order from top to bottom, bottom to top, and there is a delay process in this file movement. And then the Wheeler committee suggested the level jumping systems. That means the uh, flexible procedures of the file system. And next, the another commission was appointed by British government Maxwell Committee. That is the in the year of 1937, coming in force in the Government of India Act 1935. This is the most important. The historical act and the Constitution of India based on the 1935 Act and the implementation of the whatever recommendations were made in the 1935 Act and the Maxwell Committee suggested that. So the act which provided for a council of ministers to advise the governor general in the exercise of his functions. So, and the first time the council of ministers like a system was established in India. And next the committee during the British period and the one is the Tottenham Committee. So it acquired the end of the point of the when the freedom struggle is reached in the movement and a concluding decision is coming. And the year 1947, the government of India Act is dividing the Indian portions from the Pakistan separate and in India separate. So the Tottenham Committee and the main committee appointed soon after the Second World War is completed. The Second World War started in the year of 1939 and almost 6 years were ended. And in the year of 1945, the Second World War ended. And then the Tottenham Committee is a reallocation of their businesses and the question of stopping and the reorganization of the entire secretarial system. So the secretarial system is the main administrative functions, and these are the most important, a, like a think tank system, and providing technical experts to the ruling government. So the Tottenham committees based is this recommendations were certain implemented or not. And next point is the efforts for administrative reform since independence. So we have discussed the previous points regarding the British government from up to that. And then next we are making an attempt to what government of India after getting the freedom and what type of committees were constituted and what are the measures suggested and how the government of India accepted. These are the points we'll be discussing here. So the first, the Secretariat Reorganization Committee. So the basic when the India Freedom Guard and the first attempt this reform attempt was made on the secretarial reform. First in July 1947, the appointment of a six-member committee headed by the Sri Girija Shankar Bajpal. Girija Shankar Bajpai to investigate the question of personal strategies, better utilization of the available manpower, and improvements of methods of work in Central Secretariat in the wake of the problems rising out of the position. So when India and Pakistan divided and they got the freedom, and then the first needed for the administrative convenience and the secretariat reforms is most important. So the shortage of personnel, secretariats, a number of departments, the central secretariats. So the Shankar Bajpai committee recommended various in the structure and functions of the Central Secretariat. And next point, the Economic Committee in the 1948, the worldwide the major losses due to the Second World War, and the Economic Committee was suggested. The government set up in the year 1948 the committee to review the increase in the civil expenditure of the central government since this year. And the committee was headed by a prominent industrialist, Kasturibai Lalbai. The Kasturibai Lalbai is the headed the chairman of the economic committee, and he suggested to how to save the Indian economy system and the strengthen the financial system. And this is the historical committee in the first the Iyengar committee. The Iyengar committee is the most major recommendations were suggested in the administrative reforms, and in the year of 1949, under the chairman of N. Gopalaswamy Iyengar, was the community was established, and the minister without portfolio who submitted a report on reorganization of missionary of government. Iyengar actually recommended that the central administrative offices, that means the particularly secretariat, should be divided into 30 primary units, 28 departments, 8 central offices, and a cabinet secretariat, in addition to 20 ministries. So each ministry having 3 categories of ministers. One is a cabinet minister, second one is the ministry for state, and third one is deputy ministers. So on the basis of the Iyengar committee, in India, we are also following the 3 types of ministry system in India. And in number of departments were increased day by day, depending upon the workload. So the Iyengar committee's major recommendations were accepted by the government of India. And next, the most important, another one is the A.D. Gorwala. He is the belong the retired ICS, Indian Civil Service, to examining the existing administrative machinery and to assess how far they were adequate to meet the requirements of planned development. The Gorwala submitted 2 reports. One is the report on public administration, and report another one is efficient conduct of state enterprises. So this the Gorwala suggested that in the administrative reforms, and the Gorwala's committee as a practical committee. Why? Because he particularly belongs to the ICS cadre. And next point is the American famous committee, and the writer Paul Apple B, the 1953 and 1956, he suggested some reforms in the public institutions. So Paul H. Appleby submitted 2 reports. One is public administration in India, reports of survey in 1953, and second one is reorganization of Indian administrative system with special reference to the administration of government's industrial and commercial enterprises in the year of 1956. So the American writer, he his important recommendations. So first one is structural changes through the creation of middle level functionaries and personal development training programs. Certain of O and B M. O and M is an organization and management organization in the government of India, and is the follow-up will be committee's recommendations in India in the particularly IIPM was constituted, Indian Institute of Public Enterprises, and next the Indian Institute of Public Management. These are the few structures were created by the recommendation of the Pala Pilbi. And the Pala Pilbi suggested in various recommendations and the public administrative reforms, but the Indian government was not followed these recommendations. And next point is the committee and the prevention of corruption is the most important in the for ethics background. In September 1962, the committee is Santanam committee. That is, the Santanam is the most important famous person, and he acted as the chairman to study cases of corruption, to review the existing setup for checking corruption in government, and to suggest measures for their improvement. So, in few the cases were registered and the under the responsibility of between the ministerials and the uh, political executive and permanent executives. And there was a corruptions and the on the basis of Santanam Commission recommendation, the CVC Central Vigilance Commission was established, and the ombudsman system came on the recommendation of the Santanam Committee. These are the major recommendations were suggested by the Santanam Committee. And the administrative reforms, the most important Indian government in the year of 1947 to 66. There was a little bit after 20 years, the government has constituted a committee. So the US Hoover Commission of 1953 came to be ordered the government of India, who under its resolution of 1966 established for the purpose and administrative reforms commission. So the parallel, that means the Hoover Commission is equal to the Indian Administrative Reform Commission 1, so ARC, and it was headed by the first Morarji Desai and 5 other members, K. Hanumantaiah, and Morarji Desai later, after 1 year, he resigned, and Morarji Desai is resigned to the Administrative Reforms Commission, and then the next chairman is the Hanumantaiah. So after the resignation of the Morarji Desai, the chairman was appointed as Hanumantaiah, became the chairman of the commission. And the ARC is submitted its reports, 20 reports, making a total of 581 recommendations at a total cost of 10 million rupees in a period of over 4 years. So mostly 4 years, 1966 and up to 68 and 69, 71. And the reports were on the following subjects. First one is the major recommendations were accepted by the government of India also. So then the Congress government was there, and the Congress government appointed the Morarji Desai. So first one is the missionary of government of India and its procedure for work. This is the that means that comes the missionary functions of the secretariats, other offices, cabinet, council office, every comes under the missionaries. And next point is the most important factor is personal administration. Personal administration is related to the personal and grievances, and under the headed up by the Prime Minister of India. So regarding the employees problems and then bureaucracy problems comes under the personal administration. And next point is the problems of redress of citizen grievances. So most of the cases related to the corruptions and others problems were addressed by the this commission. And the next the center-state relations. So there are 3 kinds of relations between the center and state. First one is the legislative relations. Second one is the administrative relations, and third one is the uh, so, and these are the 3 categories of relationship: administrative, legislative, and certain after financial relations. These are the 3 major relations were mentioned in the constitutions also. From near from articles 245 to 300, these 3 type of relations were discussed. And next point is the state administration, particularly earlier commission was not focused on this recommendation, but particularly state administration system is also strengthened by the ARC recommendation. And then next, the particularly first time the administrative union territories and northeastern frontier areas also considered this. So this is the broad commission, a missionary of planning system in India. Earlier, the planning commission was there. The planning commission certain changes were needed. This is also missionary for planning and public undertakings. So public enterprises of India is also established, and then economic administration, finance, accounts, and audit. Set of recommendations regarding to KAGI, and this is also suggested by this system. Next point is delegation of financial and administrative powers. So earlier the power concentration, and then power is centralization. And after the recommendation of the ARC, The power is a delegation to the higher level to the lower level. That means the decentralization power from the top to bottom. And the regarding the railways, posters, telegrams, these are the central sponsored governments and the central government headed. So there are a certain leader. And there is a reserve reforms in the Reserve Bank of India also regarding their structure, functions, and the autonomy body was given to the RBI. And next, the uh, public corporation like a life insurance corporation, a small scale sectors, central direct tax administration. Now we are calling GST. So treasury is also certain recommendations and scientific departments, park. Next, some other administrative scientific departments, Sriharikota. These are the comes under the this department. A missionary for planning in 1968 planning boards. So the commission has taken a broad concept and examined thoroughly from each and every departments and submitted its reports. And the government of India accepted some suggestions and others some left to the institutional levels. And next, and the another major commissions in the after the 10 years. So 66 is the first ARC, and the next after 10 years, the Kotari Committee. This is the most important, particularly in the education system. Nearly 50 years, the commission was nearly 40 years. The committee's recommendations were going on. So the committees, first one is recruitment and selection methods, particularly to the UPSC was appointed by the under the chairman of the Kotari. So the Kotari committee 68 and the 67, 68 recommended that to examine and report on the system of recruitment to all India services and central group A and B services. This is the particularly mentioned here A and B, and followed by the UPSC. Then National Police Commission 1977 and 78. The government of India set up the National Police Commission by a resolution 1977 with Dharam as the chairman. And the term of the reference of the commission included the examinations role and the functions of the polices and modernization of law enforcement and upgradation of the police communications network. Particularly two services, one is Indian IAS, Indian Administrative Service, concerning the Kotari, and the next the police service and reforms in the police departments is under the National Police Commission by the Dharam. And the next committee is the Economic Reforms Commission, the year of 1981 and 84. The Economic Reform Commission was established by the Government of India and under the chairman of the L.K. Jha. L.K. Jha. The main functions of the assigned to the commission was a study of the important areas of economic administration. That means the saving nature of administration. A little bit NPM, New Public Management, and New Public Administration concept oriented, and the majorly focus on the 3E system. That means the economy, efficiency, and effectiveness. These are the major recommendations of these economic reforms commissions. And then the most important another commission is the relationship between the center and state relations. The politics is turned into the national parties to the regional parties, and many states rise, the regional parties rises and formed in various states with the regional oriented backgrounds against to the national parties. And then the center and state relationships were disturbed with the regional parties. And so the center state relations was formally constituted by Government of India under the Ministry of Home Notification in the year 83 under the chairman of Ranjit Singh Sarkaria, a retired judge of the Supreme Court. He is a judge, and the Ranjit Singh Sarkaria committee recommendations were more and more important, particularly to the administrative concept. So Ranjit Singh Sarkaria Commission recommended the establishment of interstate council. So interstate council is the most important one factor to coordinate between the interstates. In the year of 1990, the interstate council was constituted. And the next another form is the zonal commission, zonal council also. And regarding the governor's reforms, the governor system, when the governor is appointing in the state, particularly the consent of the chief minister is mandatory. Mandatory as a mandatory, or this preferably is given to the chief minister. So there will be a collaboration and coordination between the governor and the chief ministers is the given important by the interstate commission headed by the Ranjit Singh Sarkaria. And the Ranjit Singh Sarkaria commission recommended was very popular in India also. And the most and the after the uh, near 30 to 35 years gone, and then the UPA one government came into power with a common minimum program, and then the committee, the second ARC was constituted under the chairman of Veerappa Moily. So the second ARC was Government of India in the year August 2005 under the chairman of SIPA Sri Veerappa Moily, a senior Congress leader and former Karnataka chief minister, and a well experienced person. And he was constituted as a chairman commission for inquiry to prepare a detailed blueprint for revamping of the public administration system. Reports of the commission in all the commissions submitted 15 reports to the government of India. They are the mentioned below in the order of commission. So the Veerappa Moily commission and under the nearly 11 to 15 experts like Jay Prakash Narayana and other experts, technical planning commission, skill oriented. So many repeated personalities were the member was in the second ARC. And the second ARC, nearly 15 reports were submitted to the government of India. And the government of India, the Congress government has followed certainly. And then the BJP government is kept away from these reports in not practical or implementing the process. So first one is the recommendation of the Veerappa Moily Commission, second ARC. First one is the right to information. This is the most and most important, and the UPA one government has made an act. The right to information is became an act, and the act has the power to the citizen to access the public information in not a seeking information. It is an act. So the right to information is master key to a good governance. So we are discussing very nowadays the governance is good governance, e-governance, and this. These are the most important governance factors, and then that means the World Bank and global economy and global governance. So we are discussing the Right to Information Act is the most powerful act in Indian history. And next point is the second one is a unlocking human capital. That means the entitlements and governance, a case study. This is also published in the 2006. And the next report is the major one report is crisis management. The crisis management, we have seen this National Disaster Responsible Forces and the National Disaster Management Commission was established under the chairman of Prime Ministers. So disaster means cyclones, earthquakes, and terrorists, any other kinds of unexpected things will happen. Then the disaster management will access. So the crisis management is the most important one today's administration action. And next, ethics in governance. Day by day, n number of corruption cases would happen, like 2G, 3G, EG, AG, and then any number of cases were happen. And then uh, the beliefs of the confidence of the citizens are losing on the governments. And then the government considered a commission to recommend the ethics in governance. So there, that means they nullified the corruptions. Means the levels of corruption should be reduced. And so then the corruption practices were adopted by these authorities for very stringent actions will be initiated, like Lokpal, Lokita, like this. And next point is the public order, justice for each, peace for all. This is the common title for the public order. And the changing nature of criminal attitudes are changing. That means that nowadays we have seen the cyber crimes and the cyber law was enforced. So everything is in the digital India and the digital the policies. And next point is this everything is doorsteps. The money is, and the bank is the doorstep. The money is transferring to the on mobile phone. So now we are calling mobile banking. So when they're maintaining the public order, the size of criminal cases are strengthening, and the technology is highly increasing. Then the some little bit order should be strengthened and more stringent action will be needed. So we have seen a like in Nirbhaya case in Delhi, and then this the another. Next point is the local governance. So there is a need for the decentralization, and the power should be decentralized to the center to state and state to the uh, local bodies. So Article 70, Constitutional Amendment 73 and 74 has given a more power to the local governance, but at the implementation levels, these acts are not 100% successful. That's though then they are an inspiring journey into the future. So local governance should be strengthened. So we have seen the Karnataka, Kerala, they are little bit stronger local governments than other countries. And next point is the capacity building for the conflict resolution, friction and fusion. This is also, that means a skill oriented type of, and the combating terrorism day by day, the global terrorism. Terrorism not particularly to the one country, it is a global terrorism. So the cooperation between the country to country is needed when the combating terrorism, and G8, G7, any kinds of conferences will be held in the national and international levels. The coordination between the countries is needed. This, and next point is the social capital, a shared destiny. That is the also uh, social capital is nothing but the social audit we have system, and corporate social responsibility. The government of India has also made an act 2% or 3% on the profit gaining of the corporate sectors. This is the social capital, and the capital fund is to convert it to the education and health and other sectors also. And the next point is the refurbishing of personal administration, scaling new heights. That means the every years the performance of the personnel is the mandatory, and the basis of the personal reports the promotion will be given, and the salaries and rises will be happen. So this is the a new changes in the personal system. Earlier the routine and by being a time to time scales and performance, but nowadays this the uh, depending upon the capacity and caliber of the personnel has given the importance. And next point is the promoting e-governance, the smart way forward. So this is the e-governance systems. Every countries are accepting this kind of e-governance formula. Smart is nothing but the governance should be smart. That means S for simple, M for moral, A for accountability, R for responsibility, T for transparency. These are the five characters: smart, moral, accountable, next, responsibility and transparency. These are the five key characters. So every department should be maintained. So the e-governance practice is going on in the part of digital India. And the next point is the citizen-centric administration, the head of governance. So that means the making online system. Make everything is online and computer-based, network to network. So G to G, government to government, government to business, government to citizen, G to C. These are the one kind of a new technologies. So the using of ICT, right? Communication technology, information and communication technology, the link with the administration and these services provided by the government to the citizen to be doorstep. This is the system was given. And the strengthening of financial management system, and there was a n number of changes were occurred in the direct tax and indirect tax, and reducing burden on the state governments in and the FRBM Act, FR, Physical Responsibility and Budget Management Act. That has been the certain limitation imposes on the debt of the state and central government. And next point is the state and district administration. So the decentralization, then the districts, the organization and reorganization. So in the Telangana, we have seen that the under the part of the reorganization of districts, the districts were raised from 10 to 33, 33, 34. So there will be a more and more decentralizations, and the centralization process should be converted into decentralizations. These are the most important factors are giving in this second ARC. And next, the another most important recommendations on the Right to Information Act. And the Right to Information Act was the tremendous histories of the various NGOs to fight and the judgment of the Supreme Court. We have seen that. So the Commission has recommended the Official Secrets Act 1923 be repealed, saying it is an a Congress with the regime of transparency in democratic society. He stated that the safeguards for a state security should be incorporated in National Security Act. And next point is the total reorganization of public records for effective implementation of the RTI, and at least half the members of the Information Commission should be drawn from non-civil service background. And the IC should be entrusted with the monitoring and implementation of the RTI Act. So the major reforms in the RTI Act and in the public order also, the Commission has recommended the repeal the controversial Armed Forces Special Powers Act. So in certain we have seen the in the Assam stating that it's scrapping would remove the feeling of discrimination and alienation among the people of the northeastern states to provide for a enabling legislation for development of armed forces of the union in northeast states, and the unlawful activities prevention act 1966 should be amended by inserting a new chapter. So, and in favor the policing, now we are seeing the smart policing, and the criminal justice system should be changed, and the transparency should be mentioned in the court also. And nowadays the court should be maintain the digitalized records and digitalized judgments also. And the another controversial issues of the deployment of central forces without consenting of the state also. This is not the correct way. And the commission recommended enactment of law empower of union government to deploy its forces. And next, favoring separation of crime investigation from the police functions. And that little bit political to avoid the political pressures between the police, and the investigation process will be not interrupted. So the commission recommended that the crime investigation agencies be instituted in each state. That means the now we are calling CBA, Central Bureau of Investigation at the central level, and the next is the Special Protection Forces and Special Investigation Agencies (CSIA). This should be separate changes, and status should be given a autonomous bodies. And the tenure of the chief of law and order police as well as the chief of the crime investigation agency should be at least 3 years. So if government decide to change suddenly, it's not a justice. So the tenure of the particularly they have given a 3 years, they will do something, right? So frequently transfer is to be avoided. And certainly on the local governance, the commission has recommended promotion for local democracy, which is much more than decentralization, and which seeks to build local bodies as self-governing institutions. This is also most important factors, and the strengthening a direct democracy at the rural level. At the district level, the three-tier democratic government is processed to replace the present system, which is a colonial legacy. So, little bit changes, Jilla Parishad, district collectors, and other. That means the political representatives has been given a more importance than the administrative hierarchy. The parliament to make provision for constitution of legislation council in each state. So now we have 6 to 7 states are following, and the other states are not uh, maintaining that. To reform the electoral process, to ask the delimitation and the reservation of constitution should be entrusted to the state election commission. So a little bit controversial statements also I have seen in this area. And regarding the refurbishing of personal administration, the government of India should establish national institutes of public administration to run bachelor's degree course in public administration. That means the public administration is the compulsory for the civil servant aspirants. So to smooth degree course, the governance, management, these graduates from the National Institute of Public Administration and selected universities should be eligible to appear in civil service examinations. So this is the major advantages for those public administration graduates to prepare the civil service. Further, other graduates would also be eligible appear in civil service examination provided they complete a bridge course in core subjects. The bridge courses should be run by the some national universities also. So the most important factor, the public administration, the compulsory. That means the if the candidates when pre of selection, when before the selection he has a good knowledge, and then he will after the selection he will run the organization very in a smooth manner. And the premise age for the appearing in civil services should be 21 to 25 years per general. That means the reduction time. And the category wise S, C, B, C. So these are the some recommendation of them. But irrespective of this commission, recently the government has enhanced the as a upper age for the OC candidate 30 to 38, 30 to 32. The reservation may be very high. And the number of permissible attempts in the civil services exam 3, 5, 6. These are not accepted by the government of India. And the induction of the officers of the state civil service into the IAS should be done by the UPSC on the basis of common examination. And there will be a channel for the state civil services to enter into the UPSC in the upper civil services. And every government servant should undergo a mandatory training at the induction stage and also periodically during his or career. So training is important to update their skills and enhance the knowledge. And the government should expand the scope of the present performance appraisal system of its employees to a comprehensive performance management system. That means the more and more points has to be given for the performance to the consideration of the promotion system. And for a transparent system of appointments in the government covering all ranks, the commission has suggested the setting up a central services authority uh, to verify the recruitment policies. And recruitment policies should be very most important given to the various knowledges and skills like this. So these are the main recommendations of the administrative reforms in India. And outside the many commissions regarding the Punchi Commission 2005 under the Central State Relations, and the government of India established with like a specific natures. But these are the more important committees, and these the militaries and defense and some other railways are excluded in this second ARC. And the second ARC's recommendations were most important, and ministries of the personal training and the personal important headed by the ministry under the leadership of Prime Minister of India has the coordinating agency. That means the coordinating ministry to strengthening the departments. So the government of India accepted many recommendations and suggestions were made by the second ARC, and some of the controversial reports were not kept in abeyance. So reports are not implemented in consideration. So anyhow, the reforms in public administration and in India has a lot of history. Even though the reforms, restructure, refurbishing, and the is needed for the any administration, when the time is changing, the reform is also going on. So the with factor of internal and external factors are contributing to changes and the strengthening of the government organization, and timely they will be revamping the institutions for up to date. So if the organizations is not up to dated, and then uh, it will be uh, will be not in the history. So the new departments are coming on that, and the old departments are losing their powers. So anyhow, the administrative reforms, various commissions were suggested through strengthening and to revamping of the public institutions in the public administration in India, even though there has a certain loopholes, the commission structures and the commission's functions and the suggestions of the commissions and the acceptance of the government sides and other civil society sides. So the civil societies played a greater role to strengthen the uh, public institution to strengthen the structure and functions. Even many commissions were suggested to reduce the corruption levels, even though the commission's recommendations were constituted in the Central Vigilance Commissions, corruption commissions were, but even though in the administrative corruptions also is also in the maximum stages. So we have seen in the rank of the global corruption index, India has also played a major portion. So any recommendations and suggestions are given by the various commissions depending on their political natures and the capability of the organizations, even though the administrative reforms are inevitable. These are compulsory to strengthen the public institutions and to provide better services to the public and government to citizen.